warm welcome to a special episode of the SparkLab podcast, hosted by Sathya Institute of Higher Learning's Institutions Innovation Council (IIC). My name is Ravikanth, and I've got a special guest today, and he is N.L.S. Murthy. Murthy garu, Sairam, and warm welcome. How are you doing today?
Sairam Ravikanth, I'm good. How are you doing?
All good, all good. So
Good to be here.
it's a short welcome, kind of introduction for you, Murthy garu. We actually want to welcome a technologist, a strategist, a mentor, and a leader whose career spans over 25 years across global technology, aerospace, healthcare IT, startup ecosystems, and innovation leadership. Murthy garu has led some of the most complex and impactful technology programs in the world, building large centers of excellence across aerospace, flight systems, healthcare analytics, and digital transformation. Now, for over 2 decades, he held multiple leadership roles at Honeywell, including Director of Engineering for Aerospace Cockpit Displays and Innovation and Growth Leader, where he drove cutting-edge innovation that integrated business strategy with next-generation technology. Now, currently as General Manager at Greenway Health India, Murthy garu continues to lead strategic product development in healthcare technology, guiding teams that blend advanced analytics, regulatory compliance, and patient-centered innovation. So that's your intro, N.L.S. And let's now start with the conversation. Now, I've been capturing the stories with all the mentors and some of the mentees. So I want to hear this story. So a lot of background work has actually happened. A lot of work in terms of everyone coming together and getting all the permissions and coming up with the curriculum. And my question to you is, before day one, when the training actually began, can you give us what all actually went through and the names of people involved as such? Go ahead.
Absolutely. I think, first of all, thank you for the kind words. And I think every time I do whatever I did, and it just reinforces more and more expectation of what I can give back to the people as well as to the community. And here in this case, it's my own alma mater, right? So I think that's what kicks in. So just stepping back into this particular activity on the SparkLab, maybe I would go back an year and a half ago when we did the first startup day event. There was a lot of excitement. We said, okay, let's go do this. And then, suddenly this whole energy curve went almost to the rock bottom.
Right.
Not that there was no activity, but I think we just didn't know how to put all the pieces together. And then which piece should go first, because everything seems to be like entangled, so you don't know how to peel it together. So, but I think there were a few activities that happened in 2024, but 2025 January, when we did the startup day 2, that is when I think you just have to believe in Swami, and then he opens the door at the right time for us. And that's exactly what happened. And after that, there is no looking back. To tell you frankly, so every activity after that was treated like a startup by itself. I'll give an example with reference to, we just didn't know how to communicate to people. We don't know who is interested, and we don't know who can spare time. And institute just finished sports meet, and then they're so busy getting their things done for the rest of the semester. And they have all the pressures from all the regulatory things and government and all that, right? Then we said, let's build a website. And we just did it in 3 months. And it's not that we were all just have no job to do, and then we're just building this website. And this is all done like post night hours. I think I must say that Sai Sudha, the Manish, and Manish had a couple of people in his team, and then we worked very closely with the institute website team. I think the way things unfolded, never before, or at least everybody surprised. It just happened just like that. But it's not just about creating a website, but creating the content, making sure the content is up to date, get the designs right. I think these guys have done a phenomenal job, right? Then number 2, when we were one of the critical aspect of 2024, all the brain churning that was going on is we just don't have. We started doing the IP, protecting the IP, but we just don't have a very great policy that needs to be reinforced. So then started working with Abhishek brother, who is from Pulakia Legal, and then started putting together all these policies. They came into picture, they're made public, everybody's, everything is available. And then we started looking at what is the potential research that we have in the institute, the huge inventory of research that we have. How do we start converting it? Generally, I look at it more like research is converting money into knowledge, and innovation is converting knowledge into money, right? So how we have done the first phase enough, and I think we need to do the second phase. That's where we are. So we needed a governance model, and more than anything else, we are all doing it out of our the absolute love for the institute and Swami. And so even then, it needs to be repeatable. You cannot just just depending on N.L.S. Murthy. Whenever he has time, he does it, and Sudha does it, and then does it. So we need to have a governance model. So we built that. We built a screening team, and Pawan is like all. I mean, I think I missed Pawan in this whole thing. He has been the absolute strong thread in everything. Being in Murthy, I think it just helped so much, so much. And then so this kind of core execution team came together, built the IP policy, put the startup policy. Then all of that is available. Then we also built the agreement, NDAs, built the mentors communities, and I think all of you guys came in. And then after that, you start seeing this whole game is getting changed. Right? And it is more like it's self-operating now. It is not like somebody is driving it. You just define the guiding principles, and then it evolves. It is, and I think that's where the miracle is all about. So for me, that's how I look at that. That's how I would look at the background. Significant midnight oils, and then because the value that we have from the institute is you can't do injustice to the work that you are doing, the bread and butter, right? So we always give more than 100% there, but this is additional 100%. But I think we never felt tired, we never felt stressed, and I think of all of this, the intentional I did not mention, but I would mention it. The credit goes to Pallav sir, and the relentless energy. And I think even now he calls me at 11 o'clock in the night. So I think sometimes my wife says, "You're speaking more to Pallav than me." So that's what it is. But I think wonderful to where we have reached. There are a lot more detailed specifics, but I think that at least so far, this gives you a gist of the effort that has gone in.
Absolutely, Murthy garu. Thank you so much. And a couple of questions basically around bridging innovation across spiritual, social, and commercial domains. And I've been asking the same kind of question to the other mentors. And now, as we know, many startups today chase funding and valuation as primary success metrics. And how does the innovation ecosystem at our institute and IIC reframe success around purpose and service without losing the entrepreneurial rigor, according to you?
Okay, so maybe I'll just start with our, as soon as you open iic.ssIHL.edu.in, you see innovation is the tool, service, or seva is our purpose, right? I think that remains in everything that we are doing, because it's very easy to chase after money, whether you get the money or you make money or you distribute the money, but the money should not become the core purpose of whatever we are doing here. It just happens to be one of the key elements, but that's not the core purpose. The core purpose is how this will help to serve the community at large. That's number one. The number two aspect is when we were doing the screening. Okay, so I'll maybe give you a little deeper insights of it. When we were onboarding startups, we have a screening team that looks at what kind of startup is this, and what are they bringing, right? It's not just about, okay, I will give you some money, so I want to be incubated. No, sorry, that's not the way we want to look at. What are you offering here, and how does it help the overall objective of the SHRIF that we have, the Research Foundation, Research and Innovation Foundation, or to the University IIC, right? So I think that is the most important aspect of it. The second aspect, which I think is kind of alluding to what we are planning to do at end of this week, is also looking at, okay, valuation is good, but should we look at the value first before the valuation? So all the investment philosophy, the focus, and the framework that we are going to have should be unique from two aspects. Number one, typically if I put the money, I just expect the founder to deliver the valuation back to me, more money, right? Whatever, 10x, 5x, 15x, whatever. But you hardly see the investors working along with the founders. You see them, but you can count in few examples, but not a standard practice. But I think we want to have that collaborative approach here. People are putting the money here not because they just want to make money alone, but there is more higher purpose, right? So they want to be engaged. So that is the core aspect that we want to build as part of this whole ecosystem. That's number one. Number two, at every point, the KPI metrics are not going to be just the how much growth and all the billion metrics that we have. But I think the first metric is going to be about the value that we are delivering.
Absolutely.
So every startup that we are trying to incubate, the first conversation is it's all okay, and you can expand, you can do A, B, C, D, but never lose focus on that value that you have signed up for. So
absolutely, Murthy. Very, very well said. In your experience, what early behavioral habits should the founders or the students build if they aspire to balance a spiritual grounding with future entrepreneurial leadership? You did cover a bit, but if you can actually expand more, Murthy.
Oh yeah, sure. Actually, that's the I think to me, I used a very loaded word called spiritual, but I think I would probably simplify it little bit and just call it value, which is the foundational element that the world is struggling in the startup world today. You see how many startups are going just haywire across the board, and you go and look at the governance aspects of some of these the scaled up companies or startups. Everything boils down to the value system that's being adhered to. Are you doing the right thing? Are you doing it right? I think this is going to be the context, the canvas context for everything that we do, and especially for all the. I think it just comes very naturally. You don't need to teach it for at least for the students and the alumni to a large extent. But it is going to be a little challenging. I wouldn't say it is straightforward just because you have this. But I think when we incubate the startups from the external to Sai community, I think we are going to have some level of frictions, but I think they're workable in my way. But in all of this, the biggest I shouldn't use it, but I'll use it anyway. The biggest brand, the pull factor is Swami. And I think you don't need to create a separate branding exercise for it. It is Sathya Innovation and Research and Innovation Foundation. That speaks. You don't need to do advertisement. You don't need to do any of it. It speaks for itself. But I think how we uphold that brand value, that the bar is set very high. So we have some. I'll give one quick example. So when we incubated, a lot of people come with an absolute passion to do with their pure love. But I think in those cases, we are trying to teach them the economics, the business of it, because you can't just go blindly and say everything will be taken care by God. He does, but I think you also need to take care. Like you have to do your duty. So I think those elements we are trying to start bringing in under IIC. I think the SparkLab is actually the word coined by Manish, to be frank with you, and it just resonated so well with everybody that it's the lab where sparks keep coming up, and then it's up to us on how to catch hold of it. And we are also working very closely with all the institute professors, the research scholars, the students. We want to give as much preference to the in-house institute communities to come back with ideas and then incubate.
Great, Murthy garu. And finally, just one question. And do you believe that IIC and SparkLab could become incubation models that inspire similar values-led entrepreneurship across India as part of nation building?
Absolutely. I think it can set a benchmark in my view, because as I said, there is okay. So I'll probably go back. All of you know this Toyota operating system. When we were doing something similar back in Honeywell called Honeywell operating system, that always there used to be something called secret sauce. The
Right.
secret sauce is not about your metrics, but it is about your organizational development, which is about how the culture, right? The value system. That you cannot build it by just by training. It just happens because the environment is so. And that's where we are. And very, very unique. And it cannot be replicated just by copying the model, right?
Absolutely.
It is there, it can never go away. I
Mm.
think because of which we will be the benchmark. In my view, in 3 years' time, I think we would be seen completely differently and with a awe, across all the incubation centers. I think the incubation building that we have itself speaks
Mm.
I don't think anywhere in the world we have such beautiful incubation center
Mm.
infrastructure in the building that's come. I think we will make it.
Absolutely, absolutely, Murthy garu. I think 1.0, the story is really, really excellent because I've been talking to all the leaders, mentors, and the mentees, especially the mentees, and asking them feedback in terms of how they felt the program actually went. And most of them are actually overwhelmed because it's not the first time they're actually trying their idea. They've actually gone to other incubation centers and gone through some kind of training. And the feedback is fantastic. I mean, right from the curriculum, the way the trainers and the mentors, especially the mentoring part as well, the kind of time that the mentors have given to the mentees, that kind of value was created over a period of time. So 1.2 looks like a bit of a closure in a week's time, I think this Saturday. Uh, what are your ideas for 2.0?
That's like a question that I want to dodge, but I think you asked me. So, not that I don't have an answer. Maybe I'll just take half a minute to explain. So, when we had this first cohort on SparkLab, all these names came in afterwards, but I think we were just talking about incubation 1.0. That's all we started off with. And then as we were doing it, we just realized, you can incubate if the idea is mature,
Right.
accelerate when something is already on the table. You can run faster. But if you're trying to help people to understand if the idea makes sense or not, I think maybe incubation is a big word at that point
Mm.
in time. So we said, let's call it a training
Mm.
and then run it through the institute rather than running it from the Shrif. Right?
Right.
That's how this whole thing is. That's why it is actually heavy, very comprehensive, because it is more like an incubation training
Right.
rather than just an entrepreneurial overview 1.0, 101 type, right?
Mm. Mm.
Uh, I think you will hear the specific dates and what exactly that we want to do, but there are some lessons that out of this. This is really heavy,
Yep.
and maybe we want to make it a little more lightweight,
Sure.
so that we can run it, at a regular intervals, quarterly or half yearly.
Mm.
Because this, for Shrift point of view, this is creating an amazing pipeline of startups that can be incubated under Swift right after this training. Because
Mm.
this training is more like a workshop. It's not just about listening to somebody that you can do on YouTube. You don't need somebody to come and train you.
Yep.
But there is a passion, there is an element of empathy, right?
Mm.
I think these are all the unique things that we are bringing here, which
Absolutely.
we will continue to bring in. And these are
Mm.
not the trainers who are coming in because we paid them some money.
Mm.
These are many of them are all alumni, and there are a lot of people who want to give back to the society. So
Absolutely.
when that purpose is clear, I
Mm.
think nothing to beat it, right? That's exactly what we are trying to do. It is replicatable, it is
Yep.
expandable, and we are on the journey.
Absolutely, Murthy. I think lovely talking to you. I think you gave a very high level view in terms of how exactly 1.0 has come across. And now there is a long journey. 2.0 is one of them pretty shortly. But thanks a lot for your time. I think I'll pull you in again for another podcast. And any other concluding words you have before we close?
No. I'm personally, I feel blessed, and first of all, thank you for pulling me into this. Uh, I think and it's great to have this conversation. Sometimes these questions provoke clarity in our thought itself, right? We might be just doing a lot of things, and then sometimes the clarity emerges as we speak through,
Yeah,
and then it paves way for 2.0, 3.0, right? So that's number one. So thanks to you.
sure.
And I think you are doing a fantastic job of providing the platform for people, exposing them into and creating that visibility for them. So I mean that's your forte, man. So none of us come very anywhere close to what you're doing. So thank you and keep doing that. But I think personally, this whole journey has been it's just like a blessing as well as a miracle. And I keep saying this every time I just pinch my hand. Told this any number of times, and I will continue to say this. Is happening is real, or is it something in the dream? Because we know, right? It's not easy to get this kind of radical things changed in the environment that we were in. But it is all happening real in front of us. I think I'm so blessed to be part of it. And then I think we'll give the best to take it to any extent, that creates more like a role model for everyone else to emulate. So
absolutely, Murthy garu. Thank you so much. Very, very inspiring today. I'll pull you in again. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Ravi. Sai Ram.